The bailiff's hand cracked across Dr. Anya Sharma's face in open court. Cameras rolled. The judge watched. Then, calmly, she reached into her briefcase. Most stories about courtroom injustice end in tears or handcuffs. This one began that way, but it wouldn't end like that. Anya sat in the defendant's chair for a trumped-up traffic violation. Judge Wallace's smirk deepened as she tried to speak. The bailiff's palm left a red mark on her cheek, but she didn't cry or shout. She reached for a single, sharply written document that would soon turn the courtroom on its head. That morning, she'd simply been driving to work through Northwood Heights, a wealthy suburb where a woman like her always looked out of place. Her old sedan rattled beside shiny SUVs. Her briefcase lay on the passenger seat, worn leather filled with legal files. 3 blocks from the courthouse, red and blue lights flashed behind her. "License and registration," said Officer Reynolds, his tone clipped. "Of course," Anya replied, handing them over. He studied her ID too long. "Dr. Sharma. What kind of doctor?" "Law. Juris doctor." His jaw tensed. "A lawyer, huh?" "Figures." She'd signaled properly, but he wrote the ticket anyway. Failure to signal. It wasn't about the signal, it was about control. An hour later, she entered Northwood County Courthouse. Judge Wallace presided like a monarch. White hair, black robe, 40 years of unchallenged authority. The clerk called, "The People versus Anya Sharma." Anya stood. Wallace eyed her professional posture, her confidence. "Miss Sharma, is it?" "Dr. Sharma, Your Honor." He smirked. "Another lawyer wasting my time over a parking ticket." The courtroom chuckled. "Your Honor," she began, "I'd like to present evidence regarding the stop." "Evidence?" Wallace scoffed. "This is traffic court, not the Supreme Court. Pay the fine and move on. I believe the stop was pretextual. Don't lecture me on procedure in my courtroom." Officer Reynolds stepped forward. "Your Honor, she was disrespectful during the stop. I asked why I was pulled over," Anya said calmly. Still argumentative, he muttered. "Ms. Sharma," Wallace warned, "watch your tone." Anya wrote notes, unshaken. "Per statute 92C, 15, I request the hearing be recorded." "No recordings?" Wallace snapped. "The statute allows no exceptions." I said no. Reynolds moved closer, hand brushing his taser. "Judge, she's being aggressive again." Anya rose slowly. "If the court refuses to follow state law, I'll file a motion." Reynolds grabbed her shoulder. "Sit down. Officer, please don't touch me." "She's resisting," he barked. "I'm not resisting anything." Then came the crack. His hand struck her cheek. Gasps filled the room. Phones lifted. The court reporter froze. Anya steadied herself. "Thank you, Officer Reynolds," she said clearly. "That was recorded." Reynolds blinked. "Recorded by who?" She smiled faintly. "Everyone." Wallace slammed his gavel. "Order. Put those phones away." But it was too late. Hashtag spread faster than law could react. "Officer Reynolds," Wallace demanded, "what happened?" She was being aggressive. "I maintained order. I was standing still," Anya said evenly. The courtroom door opened. Security Chief Miller entered, assessing the chaos. "Your Honor, we need to review the body camera immediately." Wallace waved him off. "File it later." But the blinking red light on Reynolds' chest said otherwise. By 11 a.m., local reporter Elena Vasquez was inside with a camera crew. Within minutes, hashtag courtslap was trending. Wallace called a recess and hissed to Reynolds, "You just created a lawsuit worth millions." "She provoked me," Reynolds muttered. "We'll charge her with contempt," Wallace decided. "Control the damage." When court resumed, Wallace's tone was clipped. "Ms. Sharma, you're being held in contempt. I request one phone call. You can call from jail. I'm invoking my right to counsel." He hesitated. "Too many witnesses." "Fine. One call." Anya dialed. "Yes, immediately. Courtroom 3B." She hung up, then turned to Reynolds. "Officer, I suggest you wait exactly 5 minutes before trying to arrest me." He laughed. "You don't give orders here." "I'm not giving orders," she replied. "Just advice." Wallace gestured. "Proceed." Reynolds approached with handcuffs. Anya didn't resist. She calmly placed one document on the table. The header glinted faintly, official, embossed with a seal. Reynolds froze mid-step. His face went pale. "Officer, you might want to read that before continuing," Anya said. Wallace barked. "What are you waiting for?" The court reporter leaned forward, reading aloud. Her voice faltered. "State Judicial Conduct Commission, Office of the Chairwoman." The gavel slipped from Wallace's hand. Silence thickened. Anya stood motionless, composed. The same courtroom that mocked her minutes ago now trembled under her gaze. The paper wasn't just a complaint, it was authority. And the man trying to humiliate her was the one already under investigation. The phones kept recording. Reynolds' hand shook. Judge Wallace's face turned ashen. Anya said nothing. She didn't need to. The walls of power were beginning to crumble on their own. And then, just as Reynolds reached for his cuffs again, the courtroom doors opened. Someone important stepped inside. Anya's signature line was now clearly visible. Commissioner Anya Sharma, chairwoman. The courtroom exploded in gasps. People were immediately Googling her name. Reynolds' handcuffs clattered to the floor. Wallace's face drained of color. The Judicial Conduct Commission was his direct oversight. They had the power to suspend or remove judges, and he had just watched their chairwoman get assaulted in his courtroom. Commissioner Sharma, Wallace's voice cracked. I didn't realize. Anya's expression remained calm. Of course you didn't, Judge Wallace. That was entirely the point. She addressed the packed room. Ladies and gentlemen, I conduct routine courthouse visits in civilian clothes. Today was supposed to be a standard observation of traffic court. Instead, I witnessed judicial bias, procedural violations, and physical assault by a court officer. Reynolds stood frozen. His career was over. Chief Miller approached respectfully. Commissioner, we need to discuss this immediately. Actually, Chief Miller, this timing is perfect. Her phone buzzed. They're here. Black SUVs with government plates were pulling up outside. People in dark suits emerged. Anya looked directly at Judge Wallace. You can resign quietly, or you can face what's about to walk through those doors. The courtroom doors opened. FBI agent David Chan entered with 3 other federal agents. Anya had made more than one phone call. Commissioner Sharma, Agent Chan nodded. We received your signal. Wallace's legs nearly gave out. FBI, what's going on here? Anya revealed the second document. FBI letterhead. Civil Rights Division. Judge Wallace. Officer Reynolds. This courthouse has been under federal civil rights investigation for 8 months, she announced. We've been documenting patterns of racial bias in sentencing, excessive force by court security, and procedural violations affecting minority defendants. Today's incident just provided us with prosecutable evidence. Wallace slumped at his chair. 8 months. Your court shows conviction rates 340% higher for minority defendants compared to white defendants, Anya continued, the numbers landing like physical blows. $2.3 million in excessive fines extracted from minority communities over 2 years. Officer Reynolds specifically has 23 use of force incidents in 18 months. 89% against minorities. This is entrapment. Reynolds finally cried out. Officer Reynolds, Agent Chan stepped forward. Nobody entrapped you into slapping a woman. Anya held up the FBI authorization. We have documented 47 similar incidents of bias in this courthouse. Judge Wallace, you have 48 hours to submit your resignation. Otherwise, the FBI will proceed with federal civil rights charges. The evidence is overwhelming. The State Attorney General, A.G. Lee, appeared on Anya's phone via video call. Judge Wallace, the state is prepared to support federal prosecution. Your pattern of bias has cost taxpayers millions. Reynolds was led away in handcuffs, the same ones he'd intended for Anya. As the courtroom cleared, Anya finally allowed herself a small, professional smile. Justice wasn't always swift, but sometimes it was perfect. 30 minutes later, in the courthouse conference room, Agent Chan placed handcuffs on the table. Judge Wallace, you have 10 minutes to decide. Resign and cooperate, or we arrest you right now for conspiracy to violate civil rights. Wallace looked at his wedding ring, his family's future. Where do I sign? Anya slid the pre-written resignation letter across the table. Reynolds' criminal charges would proceed regardless. Anya stood to leave. The law doesn't care about your intentions, Judge Wallace. It only cares about your actions. Today, your actions were recorded, documented, and prosecuted. Her final words to the court administrator, before walking out to face the press, were quiet but firm. The traffic ticket Officer Reynolds wrote me this morning was the 400th pretextual stop in minority neighborhoods this year. We've been tracking every single one. The Federal Civil Rights Division has enough evidence to prosecute both of you under 18 U.S.C. Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. That carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. Anya Sharma, the commissioner, walked out victorious, not through violence, but through preparation, documentation, and the patient, systematic application of justice. The slap meant to silence her had amplified her voice across the nation, leading to the swift, surgical dismantling of institutional bias.